Hey, Tamika's here. So I wanted to come in because I wanted to give you guys 5 signs to show that you have entered your marriage still as a boyfriend and a girlfriend. Okay, so what this is going to do is going to help you guys understand. Well, let me put these back on, honey, because I do need to be able to see. It's going to help you guys understand that a shift has to take place when you enter into a marriage. Most people fall into their marriage, but you want to enter into a marriage. Hence, this is why premarital therapy is so important, right? Because it helps you guys to first figure out, are we really compatible? Yes, it feels good. Yes, we connect. We've been together for a while. We've probably even had a child by now, right? So, and that's not for everybody, but I'm just for those who have and for those who have not, right? So, I want you guys to understand that a shift has to take place when you step into marriage. And once you say, I do, it is time for you to walk into this marriage different, right? The same way when a woman gives birth, right? Before she gives birth, she is, herself, right? But as soon as she gives birth, she becomes a mother and herself, right? So as soon as you step into a marriage, you are now a wife and you're also a husband and you, right? And so those two roles need to learn how to navigate, you know what I'm saying, in this environment of marriage, right? So the first one is, again, 5 signs you and your partner have entered your marriage as boyfriend and girlfriend and not husband and wife. The first one is that you never did go to premarital therapy, right? Premarital therapy is all about 2 things. It can be about helping you to really see if you are really compatible, right? Are you really compatible, right? And it can also help you recognize some of the low level or low grade, well, not low grade, I'm sorry, high grade issues in your relationship, right? Whether it's communication, whether it's intimacy, whether it's around your social life. Like, it helps you to kind of look at all these different domains in your marriage so that you guys can really be clear about how you're going to move in each one of these domains, right? So, when you go to premarital therapy is to be done when you guys are grooming the thought of marriage, right? And when you feel that you may just want to take that next step, right? You need to go ahead and book an appointment. Okay. Now, you do have premarital therapy with the church, and then you also have premarital with us therapists, right? And so I'm a believer, so please go to the church, and I need you to get the biblical sense of marriage, but also come to a therapist who has a, in-depth program for you so you guys can talk about everything, because the church is not going to talk about everything. And I mean everything, right? There are some topics that the church is not going to discuss, but and so therefore it's important for you to be able to explore all of these areas before you guys literally decide yes, before you decide to propose and before you decide to say yes. Okay. So premarital therapy is to be booked before a dollar has been spent on your wedding, right? Before you have decided to get the ring. Now, that is the ideal way, but I want you guys to also understand, if you've already bought the ring, let's get it done then. Okay, but let's not book the event place. Let's not get the dress and all of those types of things. If you got the ring, cool beans. Okay, so I want you guys to really wrap your head around that. And if you did not do premarital therapy, then think about maybe going to couples counseling for some strengthening, for some refreshing, for some rebuilding. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is You never had a detailed conversation about what it means for each of you to be in the role of husband and wife. What are your expectations of each other as a partner, right? So what is my expectations of my husband, right? What will be his expectations of me as his wife? Right? And so the goal is for you guys to be clear about the movement that is going to happen in this marriage, and you want to be comfortable in your shoes, right? So most of the time we're kind of just falling into marriage, and we're falling into these roles. We want to be intentional about this thing, okay? We can do all the falling into in girlfriend and boyfriend in the relationship. But when we are intentional about marriage, we want to be clear about what is my role as a wife. Babe, what do you expect of me as your wife? What is your expectations, right? And then I want to be able to share with my husband, babe, these are the expectations I have of you as my husband, right? So you guys want to be able to be clear, because what I tend to see in couples therapy is that a lot of people have never had this conversation before, and people are not clear about these roles. And often people will hold in what they the thoughts that they have about how they really would like, their wife to move in certain domains of the marriage, right? Or some men will feel uncomfortable telling their wife that they really do expect for her to cook, right? Or clean, or, oh, the old school way of thinking, but not really old school. You know what I'm saying? Because if this is y'all understanding, then it's okay. If your role is to cook, to clean, and nurture the kids and do all the things, ain't nothing wrong with that. If y'all decided that that's what that is, cool beans. If yours is to provide, ain't nothing wrong with that. But please understand that it's not just provide. It's not just nurture. That is the heading, and there are A through Z, right? Subheadings underneath the role, right? You're not just nurturing by loving. You're nurturing by teaching, by guiding, by being a model. You're not just providing finances. You're providing finances. You're providing counsel. You're providing emotional support. Like, it's so much underneath it, right? And if you really want to do marriage right, then you are willing to put the work in up front, so that you can have a loving and lasting marriage, right? If you have not done this, then you can always rebuild, right? You can always strengthen, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. That conversation is very important, okay? Is to ask your partner, go home, right? Have a little date night in. You know what I'm saying? And ask your partner, babe, what's your expectations of me as your wife? Babe, what's your expectations of me as your husband? And I want you to be open, and I want you to be honest with me, right? Like, be open now. Be ready. Be ready for what they say now. Be ready, because you asked and you're opening this door, okay? So be ready. This is from their shoes, okay? And then this opens up a discussion. You know what I'm saying? So if you ain't ready for the answer, don't ask. Okay? All right. The next one, so that's number 2. Number 3 is you guys never sat down and went through the organizational structure of your marriage. Meaning, how are we going to do our finances, right? How are we going to discipline the children? You know what I'm saying? What is our expectations when it comes to our belief systems? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are we going to grow? What type of financial goals do we have? What type of marital goals do we have? What type of family goals do we have? How do we plan to teach the kids about, A, B, C, and D? You get what I'm saying? Like the organizational structure, right? How long do we plan to be in this house or this apartment, right? Are we keeping these cars, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to pay them off. Like, how much money do we want to save this year? You get what I'm saying? Like, what is the organizational structure of your marriage, right? Like really sit and think about that, because it's really important for you guys to kind of like know where you're going. When we start businesses, we do it for the business. Entrepreneurs. Yes. So we do it for the business. Why aren't we doing this for the marriage? Now, I'm not saying that the marriage is a business, but it kind of is, right? It kind of is if you really look at it. You know what I'm saying? So we're not trying to run our marriage like a business, but I'm just saying we can take some tips from the business world that can definitely work in our marriages. Okay? All right. So that is number 3. Number 4 is you've never decided to, hold on, let me go back to number 3 for just a minute, okay? For just a minute. Organizational structure. I want you to be working toward being clear about how you guys are going to move as a team, right? As one, as a unit. Us, we, our, right? Not yours, mine, you, me. Because if you want all that, stay single. You understand what I'm saying? So we're a team. So teamwork makes what? The dream work. You get what I'm saying? So I want you guys to like really think about that, right? Like what does this teamwork look like together, right? What are our goals? What are our values? What are our beliefs, right? What are the character traits that we want to model for our children? Like these are some important topics that we should be discussing when it comes to marriage, right? People aren't having these conversations. You know what I'm saying? 15 years down the line, it's like, oh, we never did have that conversation. Oh, no, we never did do, premarital, right? So I want you guys to really think about this, because you guys are showing up real early in the marriage and couples therapy now. So I need you guys to like really think about this. It's never too late to restructure your marriage. It's never too late to re-strengthen your marriage. It's never too late. I don't care if you've been married for 30 years. Yes, you may be set in your ways, but guess what? Is it working for you? Is it working for y'all? You get what I'm saying? So you can always strengthen your marriage. Okay? All right. Number 4 is you've decided to keep everything separate, right? Therefore, you have separate checking accounts. You pay your bills separately, right? You guys aren't connected in any kind of way, like outside of, yes, we have the same last name, right? You're moving in your home like your roommates. You understand what I'm saying? Now, this one, everybody is not going to agree with me on, but, I don't think that, okay, let me say this. To each his own about all these. Y'all do what y'all want to do out there. I'm just trying to give y'all a little insight. You get what I'm saying? So when it comes to this one, if you have separate accounts, fine, right? But do y'all know how much each other make? Does anybody have a hidden checking account that the other one don't know about, just in case the marriage don't work out? Y'all know how some of y'all will go into these marriages with a hidden account. You understand? Trying to, well, just in case it don't work out. Ooh, that says a lot. You know what I'm saying? So if you have a clear understanding, okay, he pays these bills, the larger bills, I pay the smaller bills, right? Or he pays everything, or we split everything 50-50. Fine. As long as you are comfortable with the agreement you have, I'm not against it. But if you guys are arguing over finances, I want you to really look and see what type of structure do you have when it comes to your finances. Is it a lot of like black and white, or can we live in the gray a little bit? You understand what I'm saying? Like where is the clarity? Where's the organization? right? Do you sit down and do, I call them monthly team meetings, right? Where you sit down once a month, you and your spouse, and you guys talk about your finances. You talk about everything but the relationship. This is not the time to talk about the relationship. This is the time to talk about the structure of your finances, how the upkeep of your home, the upkeep of the cars, your savings, retirement, your assets, liabilities. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is that meeting, right? I call it team meetings. This is what I tell my couples. Have a monthly team meeting. Now, I don't suggest that you do this every 2 weeks, because sometimes this can cause some arguments, you understand, or it can become redundant and you guys will start skipping it. So instead, let's set a date once a month to sit down. We come with paper, pen, Notion, receipts, QuickBooks, or whatever, right? Some people like spreadsheets, okay? I don't, but and you guys are literally like in this thing, right? You get the whiteboard, you guys are taking notes. Both of you guys are walking away with a budget sheet. You guys are clear about what you have in the bank, what you have in your savings, what you have in retirement, your assets such as stocks and 401ks and all the things there, right? It's like you're clear about your dollars. Okay, you guys are clear about how much you owe on the house. You're clear about what you owe on the cars, the kids' tuition. You understand what I'm saying? You're clear about your budget, how much you're spending, right? You guys even have play cards where you can give each other a certain amount of money to put on your play cards, and that's your gas money, your go out money, you'll get your nails done money, your haircut money, them fresh sneakers, and all the things. You understand what I'm saying? So it's nothing like being able to get up and walk away understanding your finances clearly. Because guess what? How do you feel when your finances is off? How do you feel when you're struggling? Not a good feeling, is it? No. And especially when you're in a relationship. It can cause a lot of tension in a marriage. It can cause a lot of small arguments as well as big arguments too. So I want you guys to really be mindful about sitting down and having these monthly team meetings. And I mean, be serious about it. You understand what I'm saying? And then also, I'm just going to add a little caveat into this. When your children become maybe around 13, 15, somewhere in there, bring them in. Bring them in your team meeting and start educating them so they too can learn about how to properly handle their finances, assets, figure out what the liabilities are, and you know what I'm saying? Show them that partnership so that when they get in their relationships and in their marriage, they will remember, my mom and dad used to bring me in and we would sit down and, they would discuss to us, as they paid the bills so that we too can learn. Think about that. Ain't that great? Right? So I want you guys to really think about that. Each one of these are absolutely important. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're not doing or have not done any of these, please take notes, save this video, share it, do all the things. Okay, I really appreciate it. But I want you guys to really take this information seriously. Okay? And so my last step, which is step 5, and that step is go back and do every last one of these 4 steps. If you haven't done it, please do. If you haven't done it in a while, please do. If you've done it, kudos to you all. You guys have a fantastic start. All right? So please take some time to look at this again. Okay, let me know your thoughts in the comments, right? I mean, I'm not saying everybody have to structure their marriage this way. I'm just here to give, some positive insight when it comes to marriage and love. And how can we possibly do it right? You understand what I'm saying? How can we make the I do? How can we be excited about the I do's? Right? How can we shift this mundane, stale marriage? Right? And it's not that you guys may have, intentionally allowed it to become this way. Right? Sometimes we just get stuck in our ways, and here we are 25 years later, and it's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But no, 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 no. Let's get the spark back in that marriage. Let's get the excitement back in that marriage. Let's work on the problems that we have. Let's work on cleaning up all the stuff you've swept under the rug. Understand? Let's work on expressing the emotions that you've been holding for years. All right? So I hope that this helps, right? Please share it. Please save it. Please go back and watch it again, because I wanted to do this video because I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and he was asking me to be on his podcast. And so he was just telling me about some, topics that they were talking about. And, we were just talking about relationships. And, I told him, I felt that one of the main issues in marriages these days is that people are walking into this marriage still boyfriend and girlfriend. Baby, you can't, hey, when y'all get mad, y'all going in the other room. You ain't going to your own apartment. You know what I'm saying? So it's important, again, when you say I do, a shift should occur, right? A shift should occur. Now, I'm not saying that the shift should not occur way before that, because things should start shifting, when you start getting serious. But real talk, when you say I do, mean it. Mean it. And I don't mean I do to just the good things. I ain't signed up for this. This ain't what I had in mind. I mean, I do means I do. For the good, for the bad, for the ugly, and for the beautiful. All right, you guys, I hope this helps. Talk to me in the comments. Talk to each other in the comments. Thank you for watching.